What up, peeps? How we all doing? Hopefully you all can hear me. Um, Welcome. Yeah, I did a voice chat the other day, and I figured, you know what? A lot of people were telling me they missed it and they wanted to do this again. So here we are. I like doing these. These are a lot more fun. It's a lot more interactive. And so I've even got some new things to talk about. So I figured we would do another voice chat. A couple real quick shout outs. First of all, Ipa, thank you for running a pretty awesome quiz the other day. If you're not familiar, Ipa runs a weekly quiz about the Wheel of Time every Sunday, right around noon Eastern time. I'm not sure what that is for all of you folks in Europe, but if you have not participated in Ipa's quiz, it's a lot of fun. Real quick, also as we're getting started here, guys, if you don't mind hitting the like button, it really helps YouTube promote these things on these live streams. So like when you guys all, if you can hit like real quick on the video, that would be awesome. Appreciate it. So a couple things I wanted to kind of get off. Like I said, I wanted to first of all say that about Ipa. I wanted to let you guys know a couple things that are going on behind the scenes that I am pretty darn excited about. I won't get into many details on some of these things, but I know a lot of you have been looking for some. I've mentioned in the past that I was going to be making Wheel of Time battle videos. So basically maps with battles that are animated, and so you can kind of see where everybody goes and all of that. And just going to let you all know that's actually very close on the horizon. We've been doing some work in the background on that, and I am very excited about what is going to come from that and what the result is going to be. So I think you guys should be pretty well. I think you should enjoy those. I hope you enjoy them at least. So when it comes to making some battle videos, I'm excited to get those out to you because I know a lot of people have been asking about those. Couple other quick shout outs, just business stuff I'll get out of the way here first. I always love to shout out other folks. So a couple new content creators I'll highlight real quick. A lot of you guys, most of you all are probably all familiar with these anyway, but the Unraveling the Pattern fella here who makes the highest quality YouTube videos about the Wheel of Time of anybody. He had a new video out. You all should check it out. He's awesome. And then also later today, if you are not totally live streamed out, the Dusty Wheel will be live streaming. I want to say later. I want to say 9 o'clock Eastern time. They have a very special guest. I think Daniel Green will be on there tonight. So if you guys are able to tune into that, please do. Thank you. Actually, speaking of Unraveling the Pattern, there he is. Hey, appreciate the donation, man. I really do. And if you all have not subscribed to him, you should click on his channel and hit subscribe. Like I said, highest quality Wheel of Time content out there in terms of production values and just awesome information. I actually sent out his first video to a couple people that I know that were interested in reading the series, and they're sold on it now. So, awesome. I appreciate that. And I think he's great. So you should definitely subscribe to him. And thank you for the donation, man. Yeah, I appreciate you guys being in here. And I think I see, oh, wow, I see Dusty Wheel in here as well. So guys, hey, if you have not subscribed to the Dusty Wheel, you should do that also. Like I was just mentioning them earlier. Hop on that. You guys should be a part of that channel. It's a really cool concept. It's basically a live call-in talk show talking about the Wheel of Time. On that show as well, like I said, Daniel Green is going to be his guest tonight. I typically call in when I can, and I am excited. I'm going to see if I can tonight. So if you all are available and you, like I said, I'm not live streamed out by that point. I think Daniel did one earlier today too. You should definitely check out the Dusty Wheel later tonight. It's a lot of fun, and so they're awesome. So guys, I will say one last thing. I'm going to plug this a couple times, and then we'll kind of get into talking Wheel of Time. Some of you saw I put out a tweet, or in the Discord server, I dropped information on this too. So way onto the Wheel of Time website that we've been putting together. And it's not meant to replace any existing websites, but really the concept here is this. There are so many new content creators. There's so many new people coming into the Wheel of Time. What I wanted to do was kind of put together a set is not totally updated. And if it is, it's got all kinds of ads all over it, and it's mobile friendly and all that. So one of the things that we're taking on is we are completely remaking the wiki, which I've showed some of you in my server. You guys have gotten a chance to see some of the wiki articles that have been updated. I will link one actually right now for all of you if you want to be able to check out. So if you want to click that link, you can see one of the completed wiki articles. Obviously, the other functionality in terms of links to the rest of the site are disabled. But the idea here is this. So the other thing I wanted to do with the wiki was set it up so that if you were reading the series for the first time, that you could not be spoiled. So if you'll see here on that link, you can get to a point, oops, smack the mic. You can get to a point where you can only go as far as you've read in the books. And so that's one of the things I wanted to do with it. There's a whole lot of the things. So bottom line is this. We're getting places on it. I'm really excited to get this out to you. I'm wanting to see if any of you are interested in financially supporting what we're doing. So there's a lot of costs associated with this. We're going to be hiring out some folks to obviously make different logos and things like that. I'm going to link, we have a GoFundMe working right now where we're trying to raise some money. I'm going to actually also compensate some of the folks that are helping make this as well. So I've just put that link in the server there. If you all don't mind, if there's a little bit extra money that you have, if you don't mind putting towards that, there's a whole explanation on that GoFundMe page that talks about what we're doing, shows you some links to some of the stuff that we're already kind of working on. And so if you are interested in supporting that, I'm going to make sure that you get you get recognized on the page. So you're going to have a whole page there where it'll be dedicated to people that were the original supporters of the site. So guys, thank you all much. I am done talking about all the business stuff. I just figured as we're getting going with that, I'd drop that. So let me pose a couple questions to you all and we can kind of facilitate or jumpstart a conversation here because I really love interacting with all of you guys. So let's start with this. I want to know, based on, because I've asked this question in the past, but we've had a lot of new stuff come out now. Has a lot of the news that's been coming out lately, does it have you more excited for the series or less excited? Okay, and I want to preface, or I want to use one article as kind of a springboard for this. There was an article that was released that was an interview with Rosamund Pike, who's the actress playing Moraine. And in the article, she talks about, it's referred to the Wheel of Time as a mega budget production. Okay, so I know for a lot of people, they were, at least basing on YouTube comments and comments to people, in Discord, there were a lot of folks that were just not super excited. So I guess I'm curious, are you more excited? And then if you're more excited, why are you more excited? Do you feel like this is just going to be high budget? Do you feel like they're doing a good job? They're making good decisions? Like, what has you more excited? And so that's kind of what I'm hoping to see out of you all. So Ipa, to be honest, the lack of major news has me a bit less excited for now, but that's fine. The show is still roughly a year away. And you're right. They haven't released anything major yet. I think we will get some major stuff coming, guys. I really do. I think we're on the cusp of, again, there's that article that talks about, I forget who it was. I want to say it's Geek Yeri or somebody. I think that's who it was. Did a bunch of research looking at Amazon's, finishing production, when they release trailers, all of that. And it's looking like, just based on that information, that we should probably be getting trailers this summer, which I cannot tell you how excited I am to see a trailer. You will get like a 35-minute video picking apart a 15-second trailer from me. We're going to go frame by frame in that thing. So I am super, super excited for that. What else? Anybody else? What are you excited for? So Delusions of Grendel. I don't know if I could get more excited, and yet somehow watching them all take Narg's Insta thingy that he's got my heart a-fluttering. It could be just because we're starved for actual news. Okay, yeah, so you're talking about the little thing on Instagram. I suppose I'm the only person left in the Wheel of Time content creation world that hasn't done that yet, so maybe I should do it. But Dusty Wheel, it's closer and closer. We've flown through 6 to 7 months. It's going to be quick. Yeah, the crazy thing is it just seems like not that long ago we were getting our first information about casting. Like if you all remember that day where they dropped all the casting news, that was just nuts. And I remember going crazy about that. Everybody was flipping out. I don't know that we're going to get that many dumps all at once, but it has flown by. It really has. It's not going to be that much further out. Duder Dudington. First of all, I love the name. I like seeing the actors and becoming accustomed to their faces associated with their character names before seeing them in the role. I can't wait to see Perrin in action. Yeah, I'll tell you this. Guys, I've said this. You've heard me talk about this. The one of them that I was the most impressed by when I did my research into their backgrounds and the other works that they've done was Marcus Rutherford. He was very, very impressive as an actor. And I know a lot of people were very critical of, they thought he was small or they thought that he was not built like Perrin. Either was bigger than we thought in the pictures or he has put on a ton of muscle because that dude is jacked. That dude is jacked now. So yeah, if you guys have not seen that, definitely, it's exciting to see him in that role. So I guess I'll bring that part up. But I guess what I was all going to say, sorry, I'm trying not to scroll past too many of these. I can't wait to see him in action. One of the things that I have found really cool about the cast is how accessible to the community they've been. They're not releasing like super big information dumps or anything crazy like that. But what they are doing is interacting. You know, we get to see them. And so you are getting used to their faces. You're getting used to their chemistry. And I'll tell you, it certainly looks a lot like they have a lot of chemistry. So yeah, I am excited. In one age called the year 2020 by some, an age that has just begun, an age yet to end, a wind rose to the most desolate corner of the internet known as Nae'Blis channel, and his 14,000 fans waited. Yeah, hey, soon to be 15,000. We were very darn close to that. So probably within the next week or so. But yes, thank you, Jordan. We are all waiting in our very small corner of the internet. I don't think we could be more excited here. So, hey, Melissa Brown, thank you so much. The show will be best served by leaning hard into the surrealist and horror elements. The Eye of the World is functionally a horror in many ways, and all the sci-fi flavored parallel world craziness. Thoughts? Yes, yes, yes. Double down, triple down, yes. If the Eye of the World isn't terrifying, I feel like they've done a bad job. At the beginning, at least. I feel like it should be something that is it should, sorry, my phone was beeping at me. It should be something not only, I want to say more of a thriller. I don't know if it should feel like a horror necessarily, but it certainly should feel like a thriller. Like if you take the beginning of The Lord of the Rings, but you crank up the gore and you crank up the suspense. That's how I feel like the Eye of the World should start. But I do also love that there are parallel worlds. You have these dream sequences. Like if they do a good job and they shoot it well, cinematography is going to play a big deal in this. But if they do that well, I'm very, very excited for that first season. So Melissa, I 100% agree. Hey, real quick, guys, if you also don't mind, hit the like button. It really helps YouTube promote these live streams. Otherwise, they don't promote them very much. So if you don't mind hitting the like button, I appreciate it. And hey, MK, if you don't mind, if you can continually let folks know about the GoFundMe page for the website as well. So guys, just a quick shout out. We are raising some money here to support the back end work that's going into the website. If you want to see an update of some things that have been completed, of some of the work that we've been doing and what we're planning on doing, click that GoFundMe link. I will link it, and that way MK's got it. But if you don't mind and you want to support what we're doing, we're trying to hit a goal here, and appreciate all of you who are supporting this. But yeah, so I see somebody talking about, sorry, I probably missed a part of the conversation here, but I want the dark one to be horrifying, not laughable. Agreed. Or the dark to be horrifying, not laughable. Yeah, part of that's going to come down to the way they do costumes and CGI. Some of it's going to do camera angles. And this is where, guys, this is where the directors make such a big deal. The fact that they got Uta Bresowitz for episodes 1 and 2. If you don't know much about her, she's a star. Like, she's awesome. And the work that she's done in the past is like of the highest tier for television. When you start talking about Westworld and The Wire, she's awesome. She's also a cinematographer by trade. So to me, it's no coincidence they brought her in for the first 2 episodes where we need to shoot these chase scenes or these horrifying or suspenseful moments. To me, it's not a surprise they brought her in for that. So I'm super excited for that. So I see, hey, Nae'Blis, I love your stuff. I started watching your channel and I've gone and binged a ton of the playlists and liked them all. You've motivated me to get back and reread. Hey, Matthew Hand, that's awesome. I appreciate you watching everything, and I'm glad you were able to connect to it. Nathaniel Friday, thank you for the donation, man. The Bubbles of Evil. I love to think about what Hollywood will do with those. Oh, yeah. To me, the Bubbles of Evil were always weird because they could come across as really cheesy, like weapons dancing around and stuff. They have to straight up be... This is where it has to turn a little Game of Thrones. It has to get gory. It has to get where the stakes matter. It has to be where you actually think that the characters might be in trouble. It's hard when you just know they're going to live, right? Like, there's no suspense to that. So those kind of things, they need to be gory. I don't know another way to put it. I think they need to be gory. I think the audiences should fear people and creatures associated with the dark, like any unknown and mysterious way. Yeah, I actually think less is going to be more here. I really hope we don't see too much of the Murdral or too much of Trollocs until it's time to really see them. Sometimes it's better, for instance, the movie Alien. Part of the reason Alien worked is you never actually you didn't see the alien much. You saw what the alien did. You saw parts of the alien, but you never really saw the alien. I really, really hope they do something similar in that regard. Michael Alessi, I love your show and contributions. First time catching a live stream. Hey, welcome. I'm glad you finally caught it. I knew if we did a couple different times here, some more people might be able to tune in. So I'm excited you actually got a chance to engage here. Shadow Logoth is another really eerie moment in probably the second episode. The Black Winds and the Ways scare me just to think about. Agreed. Again, they got to do it well. They've really got to do it well. Music is going to play a big role in that, which again, this is part of the reason I'm excited, guys. They've got big name people at pretty much every spot. Bringing in the musicians they've got, bringing in the directors, the cinematographers, the costume design. And then, guys, I can tell you this. I know to a degree what money they're spending on this, and it's dwarfing things. It's a lot of money. They are not deepening this up by any degree. So that has me saying that right, not butchering it. Appreciate that. Appreciate the encouragement. I'm glad you guys are able to tune in, and I'm glad you are enjoying the content. We got Dusty Wheel. I wouldn't mind seeing them dig deeper into the Bubbles of Evil, come up with their own. Yeah, I agree. I think it doesn't necessarily need to be what's in the book. That's one of those areas where they can add a little artistic what might work better visually, because again, the difference with adapting a book is taking something that's in a book and adapting it in a way that it works in a visual medium. And some things translate well, some things don't. I think that's one of those areas where they've got some gray area they could play around with it. So I see a couple of you talking about that. Agree the bubbles are some of the most interesting aspects of the world, and there's so much potential there. Yeah, a lot of you seem to be agreeing on that. I'm sorry, I'm being horrible on my phone here. Sorry, I'm half working at the same time. Is that, I know some of you are probably doing the same thing where you're working right now. So, okay. I'd like to see them make Nynaeve a bit more likable. When I reread this year's I always ask myself, why are these people even friends with her? Jack, I hope they don't do that. I actually really appreciate Nynaeve, and I think that's something that's grown over time. Like, clearly, she's not always nice. But the difference with Nynaeve, she's that one friend that's nasty, but always has your back. Like, you'll notice, who does Rand trust the most? Nynaeve. She's my favorite character, obviously. I ranked her #1 on my best characters in the series. So I think that, but I actually kind of hope they don't do that. I kind of prefer that. MK, thank you. You rock. What do you think the show can enhance or make better than it was done in the books? I think the relationships can be done better. Yes, yes, and yes. I think so. Mike's book review, but one of the things that he said is that a lot of Robert Jordan's relationships kind of feel like, hey, we met, the author wants us to fall in love, so bam, we did, right? I don't know that I'd take it that far. I think a lot of the relationships in the Wheel of Time are based around mutual respect for each other. So Nynaeve and Lan, for instance, they respect each other a lot, and I think that starts as the basis of their relationship. Moiraine and Tom are similar. So I think there's a mutual respect in that. Now, that all being said, I think they can be done a lot better. And I think that can certainly be done in a visual medium better as well. It just depends on how much page time or viewing time they want to put to it. What else do I think they can do better? I mean, I think this is the obvious one. I think they can cut down a lot of the side characters, not necessarily the side plots, but a lot of the side characters, and reduce a lot of the description is naturally going to go away. And it's good. It's really good that Robert Jordan did the description, but like, it won't need to be said. So a lot of the length of the books is going to be cut simply by looking at it visually now. So yeah, I do think that would be something I feel like they can do better than the books, is just saying, showing, not telling, right? And that's obviously an easier thing to do with a visual medium. I know. So you said you're not talking about romance, just friendships in general. And yeah, I would agree with that. Sometimes it doesn't feel like Rand, Matt, and Perrin are actually friends. Like, I think they are. There are times where they do, but it doesn't really feel like they are. And then I personally always felt like the Elaine and Avienda friendship was weird. How they ended up becoming, like, it just didn't. It didn't feel real to me. I always felt like that one was a little forced. So, unraveling the pattern. Everyone, don't forget to donate to Nae'Blis' site if you can. Hey, man, I appreciate that. I will post the GoFundMe again here, in that we are trying to raise a little bit of money to support the creation of the website, some of the back end stuff and logos, and you will be immortalized on the website if you choose to donate. Anything that you can do would be wonderful. So I appreciate it. I did link the GoFundMe there, but yeah, I appreciate all of you who have already donated on that. So yeah, that's not to say. So I see somebody saying, like Rune says, Lan and Nynaeve made sense. Tom and Maureen felt paired off for no reason. Let relationships happen organically in the show. I would agree on Lan and Nynaeve. I actually felt like that was a pretty good one. I hated the Gawain and Egwene one. It's like they saw each other once and now we love each other. I didn't like that one. I also honestly never really liked the Rand and Elaine one, because it seemed like, yeah, they spent a little bit of time together in the Stone of Tyr, but that's really the only time they spend together. And then, like, she's like head over heels for him. It to me, the most authentic of Rand's relationships, quote unquote, is Min. I just felt like she felt the most real. The Avienda part was always like, we just hate each other, but we love each other. I just never really cared for that much. So yeah, I guess we're getting into talking about some of the relationships and whether they're awful or not. But I do think that's a weak part of the writing. If I want to, I do think that's a weak part. Do you think they'll continue the same pace of 1.5 books per season, or will they slow it down once they see it successful? I actually think they're going to continue that. Because first of all, there's about 3 books I think that are going to be combined into one. I know that seems extreme. I know people think that sounds extreme, but the reality is Path of Daggers, Winter's Heart, and Crossroads of Twilight is probably going to be one season. And I think that could quite easily be done, believe it or not. So I know whether or not to put those three things in the same season, that's another story. But that there's a one season's worth of content in those three books. So I think there are certainly things that are going to happen. And then I really think A Memory of Light is going to be shortened. And I say that just because there's only so long you can watch a battle. I don't know. I have no idea. Probably the most overwhelming thing on the horizon to me for this show is how they are going to handle the last battle. From a narrative perspective, from a visual perspective, I'm almost at a loss of trying to think about how I would begin to adapt that, because you have these massive scale battles that are basically on the scale of, so think of the Battle of Minas Tirith in Lord of the Rings, where you've got that many troops, like that's 100,000. There are these battles with 300,000, 400,000 total troops on the field in individual battles. Like, that's the scale that we're talking. So like 2 and 3 and 4 times bigger than the Battle of Minas Tirith, with magic involved, right? In 4 different arenas. And then you bring in the Sharans, who are new people, and then you've got what's going on at the Boar. And there's only so much battle you can watch, first of all. So when it comes to how they're going to end, though, to me that's the hardest thing they're going to have to get. I think the only way you can do that is to make some of that shorter. But one season for Tarman Gaiden would be, it couldn't be all battles, is my point. We can't have 8 episodes of battle scenes. So yeah, I'm not really sure what they'll do with that, but the mega budget is going to come in handy, certainly, MK. Absolutely. So Persephone Samuels, they're probably hoping they can get the next Game of Thrones and can afford it. Here's the thing. They're already spending more than Game of Thrones did. So guys, put that in perspective. They are already spending almost as much per season as Game of Thrones did in its final seasons. So just going to leave it at that for you. So that's a lot of money. They're not shortchanging this. And Amazon has deep pockets when it comes to this kind of content, because right now we were having this discussion the other day. I think with maybe the exception of HBO, Amazon is making the best content out there now. So I'm just pumped about it. Unraveling the Pattern. I genuinely hope they remove Shaw and make Taim Demon Dread. I know that's controversial. Interesting. Why do you hope that? I'm curious why you hope that. Be interested to see what you mean by that. So I'll look for your comment here in a second. Do I have a source for my budget info? Yes, but I will not share it with you. And I don't know the exact budget. That's all I'm going to say on that. Stubble. Is it possible that they do the last battle as a theatrical release? They considered a theatrical release for the end of Game of Thrones. Now, that would be interesting. I think that would actually be much harder to adapt if they did it as a theatrical release, because now you're down to 2 hours. So if we did the last battle as a 2-hour release, right? How do you fit the entire last battle into 2 hours? See, I feel like that's the... Hey, MK, I think you're linking a YouTube video. I'm not sure. Oops, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I think you're linking a YouTube video. Yeah, not the not the live stream. I'll link the GoFundMe here again. That's the GoFundMe that I think MK is trying to link, support the new website there. But yeah, for the Rick Astley video, that would be awesome if you did link the Rick Astley video. I'm still getting hate for that during the Super Bowl. Unraveling the Pattern, I wish they would dive deeper into the Sharn. See, that's probably my stance on it. I would like to see more world building, not less. That's probably where I feel like it would be good. I would hate if they combined Taim and Demon Dread, because we would either lose the Flame of Tarvalin, or I didn't come here to live, I came here to kill you. I would hopefully we don't lose that. The Tame of Dread, it's too obvious. It's been talked about to death. So I'm really hoping they don't. dropping Shara. I know. See, Dusty Wheel, the innkeeper, loves to drop everything. He wants to cut half the series. I'm joking. But I kind of like what they did with Shara, actually. I'll come back to that here. Oh, I cannot read your name because I can't read it in Russian, but thank you so much. Little fact, in Russia in February, first time reaching worldwide. That is awesome. Again, if somebody wants to translate that, I cannot read it. So I apologize for not saying your name, but thank you so much for the rubles. You are the best. And yeah, I'm excited that it's a worldwide, like that there's such a reach for these novels. I mean, we have people in my Discord server from Finland, from the United States, from the UK, from Brazil, from Singapore, from China, even. I mean, it's just crazy. So I'm excited, and it's obviously in Russia as well. So it's just very, very exciting. There you go, MK. I think you got the right link now. So, oh yes. Hey, Jennifer Wood. Welcome. Thank you for showing up. Jennifer's awesome. She's one of my favorites. So okay. I think the general consensus, if I'm reading this correctly, is that the majority of you are far more excited now than you were before. I think that's maybe and I'm happy to hear that, because for a long time the consensus was kind of mixed. I think a lot of people were not looking forward to the show for some reason, and whether or not I've just filtered those people out of my channel because they hate my opinions on it and they think I'm a hack, or if people are genuinely more and more excited about it. I'm just happy that people are excited. Ben Parrish, thank you for the site. Have all the credit I got from doing the Google surveys. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, Ben. Thank you for that. And I didn't know Google surveys were a thing. Oh, is that Ilya again? Ilya. Okay, I didn't realize that was you. Well, thank you for donating again. You are a frequent watcher of the channel, so that's awesome. Amazon is a good home for the show. That budget plus their recent history of putting out good shows. And guys, they have been putting out some really high quality shows. At least in production value. I don't know that I would always agree that they're like great. Like The Hunters, to me, I just watched The Hunters, which is basically about Nazi hunters. It was okay. I wouldn't say it was great. I watched it. It was entertaining. I felt like it could have been better. The Expanse is awesome, but it was already started on Sci-Fi, but they've done a good job with it. They really are they release really high quality content. So if you're not watching Amazon Prime shows, I'm at the point where when HBO releases something, I watch it. Like The Outsiders on HBO, awesome. So when they release something, I watch it. And I'm at the point now where if Amazon releases something, I'll at least start it to see how I feel. So yep, even Carnival Row looked awesome. The benefit here is Wheel of Time is finished. It's got foreshadowing throughout, and it's really good story. I mean, it's actually a really compelling story. So that's one of the things I'm super excited about. Okay. Melissa Brown. You guys are awesome with the donations here. I appreciate it. And is the whole Hunter season in Prime already, Ipa? Yes, it is, at least here in the United States. I don't know if it is in Finland, but since Finland is a third world country, wink, wink. But it is here in the United States. If they skip one culture that's described in the books, which one would you be okay with losing? Ooh. Okay. So first of all, Stubble, you always ask the best questions. Stubble McShave is like the best question asker for a live stream. I love it when you're here because they just don't have that much effect. I would say, frankly, probably in both cases, the sea folk, as much as I hate it, are frankly kind of annoying. The weird part to me was the way. To me, it always felt like it was almost a weakness of the writing. And I don't want to say weakness of the writing, but it's kind of almost how it feels. When Elaine and Nynaeve make the deal with the sea folk for the Bowl of the Winds, right? And then they say that they'll be teaching the sea folk. Like, it doesn't strike me as something Aes Sedai would do, would be to allow the sea folk to bully them and order them around like servants as teachers. Like, that's not how Aes Sedai teach. And so I would imagine that they would never submit to that, and rather would say, if you're going to teach, you're going to learn the Aes Sedai way. I just always felt, I know this is kind of off the topic of the question, but I always felt like that was a little odd. I don't know if you guys felt that way at all either, but the Sharans may be easier to cut. Here's why I'm very, very in favor of keeping Shara, and rather than cutting them, expanding it. Because if Trollocs and Murdral are the only bad guys, they have to drastically change the rules. Like, if it wasn't for the Sharans, the light would have trounced the forces of the shadow. Guys, I'm not even, I don't even think that's close. Like, they literally would have trounced the shadow if Shara hadn't showed up. So the reason I say that is they were, I mean, effectively the Aes Sedai had eliminated the Trollocs in that area. They were about to wipe the floor. And if they left, you take an army of 400, 500, 600 channelers plus their army and show up to reinforce the other armies, they win. So if you remove Shara from that, they get trounced. Like, Shara is the only thing that really keeps it even, that gives there any suspense there. Because you got to keep in mind as well, Shadowspawn can't travel. Okay, so they really have all the advantages. They have more channelers. Yeah, they've got fewer troops, but they have more channelers. They have smarter troop movements, right? The only real advantage that the Shadow has is the Forsaken. So yeah, I don't feel, I think they do need to promote more of Shara. That's why I'm not in favor of cutting them. I think the Sea Folk are actually easier to cut. Just my opinion. Ipa, my main issue with the Sea Folk is how Rand uses them. He sends them to sail across Shanshan ruled seas to send food to Bandar Eben instead of just making wind fighters use gateways. Again, you're right. It totally doesn't make too much sense. So, yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I agree. That's probably one of those. I should make a video on what does and doesn't make sense on the Wheel of Time. So, is Amazon filming more than one season at once? I don't think so, Judson. I don't think we're at that point, because although they are filming a long time for the Wheel of Time, so this is a pretty long filming cycle. So I'm not exactly sure, but I don't think that that's what's going on. Oh, I didn't even, Jennifer Wood, $300 for the GoFundMe. That is very typical of Jennifer Wood to be awesome, because she's an awesome person in general. She's been pretty supportive of the channel. So thank you so much, Jennifer. As always, you're the best. Melissa Brown again. Hey, I appreciate you. So you said, I agree, which is why they need to keep Demon Dread and expand his role even. He should be a constant looming threat that lives up to the universal hype. Yeah, I agree. I think with all of the Forsaken, what I want is I want them to really expand on the Forsaken. I don't want any of them to be cut. I think they can all have their roles expanded upon. So yeah, I'm hugely in favor of that. I agree, Malone. They started writing season 2 a couple months ago, so they aren't filming it. And yes, that's true. They did start. Now, I would expect them to start filming relatively soon, guys. It's not going to start filming in next year. So if the show is planning to be released right now, they will be filming the show probably sometime in September, October of this year. They'll be filming season 2. So they're going to have a short break. They're going to wrap a little bit, and then they're going to start filming again. So yeah, they're putting stuff into this, guys. The long production time is the other thing that has me excited. They're filming a lot. Benjamin Dean, the hard part with the Demon Dread Shard thing is how to expand on it without losing the surprise of him showing up at the end. And yes, I agree. So I think they can hide what he's been doing, or they can make it not a surprise at the end, but more, you could leave it kind of out of sight, out of mind. Like, you could have Demon Dread with the Sharans, River of Souls. It's pretty cool. I would love to see Demon Dread almost set up as an anti-hero. in very similar. So how many of you guys have watched Walking Dead? I think it was season 4. Walking Dead season 4 had the governor, who was one of the baddies. You had a couple episodes with him being basically the anti-hero, right? So you saw him building up a new life and having almost new quote unquote kids and all of that. That's kind of how I envision. Like, I would love to see Demon Dread in those eyes, because what they did with the governor there gave us such depth to that character that it was really, really good. And I think they can do the same with Demon Dread. I think if we see what goes on in Shara, I think that's worth the lack of surprise, right? So in any case, Nae'Blis, I know you are against cutting Forsaken, but do you think they should cut the reincarnations aside from Morden? No. Here's why. It's such a good narrative device to have it. Think about the tension that it causes knowing that Halima is right next to Egwene the whole time, or that Corlan de Shiva is hanging out with Rand the whole time. So yeah, I actually don't. I don't think it would be good to cut the reincarnations. I really think it's good to have them because it's such a good narrative device. To have somebody that the good guys don't know is bad causing problems. So I really think that would be great. So do you think the first or last episode of the first season will be longer, double-length episode? Oof. I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be longer. I don't know if it'll be a double-length episode. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an hour and 10 minutes, something like that. But I don't know. I actually don't. I would imagine they probably won't. Amazon, if I can remember, most of the shows I've watched on Amazon, they tend to have normal length first episodes. So this is I think they need to keep, there's a, I'm trying to put this in words here. Sorry if I'm stumbling. They need to keep a rhythm to this. They need to keep it set up so that there are events happening, but at the same time, we have time for character development and character depth. So I think there is a happy medium that they need to shoot for in that, because I do think stuff needs to happen. Like, we don't need a slog that, and I'll give you a good example of a show that did that. Walking Dead is an example of a show that slowed down, drive character depth, and they did drive character depth, but it also felt like nothing was happening. Like season 2 of Walking Dead was kind of like, oh, what's going on? Like, okay, do something. And then they finally did something, but it took a while. So I think there is a happy medium. Anyways, did you hear about the casting call for twin babies? I'm thinking the show Rand being found by Tam on Dragonmount sometime in the season 1 finale. I absolutely think that'll happen at some. I think we're going to see that. And I've told people this. I think we're going to get, I said this on the Dusty Wheel, as a matter of fact. So again, shout out to Dusty Wheel. But I think that we're going to see an entire episode minimum flashback to New Spring. It makes zero sense to bring in Karine Nagashi and a warder. And not only that, a warder played by Peter Franzen. It makes no sense to do that if we're not going to get a whole episode of it. They're not going to bring in Peter Franzen for 5 minutes for a flashback, right? Because Karine Nagashi basically just dies. I mean, we don't even really meet her. So they're going to have to expand it. It just doesn't make any sense otherwise why they would be doing that. So I do think that we're going to see a whole episode, and I think it's going to end with Rand being picked up by Tam. That's just what I think is going to happen. Jennifer Wood, I hope they drop the shows weekly. It gives us time to watch, review, discuss, and more importantly, in my opinion, share about, like tell other people about. Because first of all, I'll say this. From a content creator's perspective, it would be an absolute nightmare for me if they dropped it all at once. It would be horrible. I would prefer weekly releases so I can make 2 videos on each show. I already kind of know what I would do in my head. I'm going to do a recap video, and then I will do a deep dive, like a deep dive Easter egg video with, did you see this? And did you see that? And point stuff out. So yeah, very, very excited for that. I hope I really hope they're going to go weekly. So I agree with you. Cutting the Sea Folk entirely, by cutting the Sea Folk, you lose the Bowl of Winds, but I think that will streamline the story. I think they can keep the Bowl of Winds without the Sea Folk, though. I think you could have other people take on that role. So I think that would be an easy workaround that wouldn't really hurt the plot much. Would you rather have one episode for New Spring or sprinkled across the first season in multiple flashbacks? I would rather do multiple flashbacks. I would almost also be okay with time jumps if they do it appropriately without us knowing them until later. I'd be totally fine with that. But again, my bottom line with it is I just don't want it to be cheesy. It can't come across as cheap. However they do it, can't be cheap. So I think most of us agree that weekly would be better than binging. Is there anybody here that would rather it be dropped all at once? Just curious. You guys, the Columbus watch parties thing, everybody keeps bugging me about this. Here's my stance on watch parties, because I know some of you guys live in Central Ohio. I mean, Daniel and I live in, I won't say where Daniel lives, but I live in the northern part of Columbus. He lives not far from me. He's been to my house before, Daniel Green. I don't even think we're going to watch it together. And I think part of the reason for that is I need to be focused. I want to make content on it. So I know a lot of you want to do watch parties. We'll maybe talk about it as it gets closer. I guess I'm not totally opposed to it, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know how open I want to be to doing watch parties, but maybe we'll figure it out. But yeah, so most of you guys I see weekly. Some of you are cool either way. MK is protesting. She says she'll never watch it. I'm joking. She will. Weekly. Yeah, I think weekly is the big benefit of weekly. If you come back to like The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, it built up hype as the season went on because we could talk about it and people would hear, oh, what you're talking about? Watch this show. And people would watch one show and get hooked. So I definitely would prefer weekly. I think that's not even a question for me. So Columbus rewatch parties. Now, hey Matt, I might be okay with that one. I might be okay with a rewatch party. We could maybe do that one. But yeah, I think for my first watch, I need to do it on my own. I need to be able to pay attention. I want to be able to soak it in. So an after talk show like on Talking Dead. So Gab the Reader, I actually think I'm probably going to do that. I will most likely, depend if they do a weekly release, I will probably do a live stream after, or I'm sure other content creators, I'm sure that'll happen. I have no doubt the Dusty Wheel will do it. And they're kind of set up for that type of, Dusty Wheel might even be the best place for that type of content. So if it drops all at once, I assume the movie theaters will be rented and all-day streams will be held internationally. For sure, be renting out my local brewery for that. Yeah, Delusions of Grendel, if they do that might be fun. That might be fun. Hey, out of curiosity, let me know in the chat if you're going to be at Jordan. Any of you that are planning on being there. I'm just curious how many of you are planning on being there. So, and real quick, while we're doing that also, I'm going to go ahead and throw up the GoFundMe again for any of you who want to have a chance to be immortalized on the new website. You can actually see how explicit or adult do you think Amazon will make Wheel of Time? Well, Judson, if they don't make it extremely explicit and extremely adult, I will be upset. And I don't mean sexual content, although I do think that needs to be a part of it. There's actually a heck of a lot more sex in the books than you realize. Once you get to Path of Daggers, actually, really, even once you get to Shadow Rising, like Matt's sleeping around, Tom is sleeping around. They talk about it pretty straightforward. Obviously, Matt gets, I think everybody thinks this is controversial. I don't. Matt gets raped for like 2 books. There's quite a bit of sexual content in there, and you'd have to kind of hide it to not put that visually in the book. So, and I think from a gore perspective, this book is the most violent book. Way more violent than Game of Thrones. I'm sorry, guys. It's way more violent. There's more torture, more death, more bodies exploding and heads. I mean, it's If they don't make it TVMA, forget it. Dusty Wheel, Nae'Blis, will you be at JordanCon? I absolutely will be. I'm going to be at JordanCon for the first 2 days. I'm going on a cruise leaving on that Sunday, so I will not be there on the third day, but I will be there on, actually, I'm probably going to get in on Thursday and I'll be hanging out until Saturday. So I will be there. I'm not, so as of now, I'm not invited to be on any panels or anything, but I will be there hanging out. So. But any of you that are going to be there, I'm kind of scrolling through and seeing JordanCon. A lot of you are going to be there. Make sure you come up and say hi. I'm really excited to meet all of you because we talk all the time in these communities, and I really want us all to be able to meet each other. So, will I live stream JordanCon? Probably. I don't know if I'll live stream. I will definitely be making videos. I may do a live stream while I'm there, but probably not walking around because I want to be able to meet people. But we'll see. I haven't really figured out how I'm going to cover JordanCon yet. I just know I will. So, if it makes you feel better, you have been invited to any panels. Well, hey, it doesn't make me feel bad that I haven't been invited to any panels, but hey, it's okay. I wouldn't, if I'm invited, great. If I'm not invited, that's okay too. I'll be there. And really, my whole thing is I just want to I want to meet everybody and see everybody. So I did get press credentials though. That is, it took them a while, and they actually questioned me a couple times, which I thought was kind of funny, acting like, "Who are you? And have you ever done anything on, like, do you actually have a social media presence?" That was some of the questions they asked me, which I thought was funny. Not that I'm a big deal or anything, but because I'm not. But it was just interesting because it's like, well, I mean, I think I have a YouTube channel that people watch. So, but yeah, Dusty Wheel, Matt, I will absolutely be hanging out, man. I'll definitely be seeing you there. So I am not a big deal, MK. Or I could be like, what is it? What movie is that from? Anchorman. I'm kind of a big deal, right? Benjamin Dean, why not get a bunch of content creators together for a collab event at JordanCon? We may do something like that. Bill and I have collaborated a decent amount before. I mean, obviously we live close to each other. We're friends. So we'll probably do something. Like I said, though, I don't know what that will be. So we'll figure that out. Andrew Oliver, people, go get immortalized on the GoFundMe. Hey, I agree with that. Getting immortalized on the GoFundMe. You can put in, by the way, if you don't want your real name out there. Obviously, I don't want my real name out here. But if you want to get your name put up on the website and be a part of that, please, I'll link the GoFundMe again if you want to be a part of that. Oh, looks like MK got on it before I did. So you're going to be a big deal once all these new Wheel of Time fans come flooding into YouTube looking for content. Well, there's going to be quite a bit of other Wheel of Time content creators. And guys, one of the things that I get this question a lot. Do you want more people? My advice to any of you, if you want to do this, if you want to make Wheel of Time content, do it. YouTube is such a great platform to you to be able to get an audience to talk. I have no real special skills at this. So I think for any of you all, like the more content creators out there talking about the Wheel of Time, the better for all of us it is. Okay. And so I would encourage, and I will help anybody that wants to get started with this. Obviously, I am no expert on anything, but I have done a few things and made a couple different mistakes. And so hey, I would encourage you, just get out there and make it. It's not going to be perfect before you start. If you go back and watch my first video, it is garbage. So in my videos now, I'm sure in a year I will think are garbage now. So just get out there and start, and be surprised where things will grow from there. So I just encourage any of you all to do that. It's great for the community when there are more people doing it. Okay. And so I'm always here to help. I mean, as much as I can. Obviously, I have limited time for that, but I would anything I can to help promote you. And if you make good content, I'll work with you. So, any case, and that's why we've got a couple good content creators on this live stream right now. Quick shout out again to Dusty Wheel, who's got a live stream tonight with Daniel Green as a guest. Definitely tune into that. And then also, Also, on top of that, though, you've got Unraveling the Pattern, who, like I said, has made the 2 best Wheel of Time videos I've ever seen made by a content creator. And I'm not blowing smoke. I usually don't do that. So pretty awesome. So those 2 are here. You should give them a follow, watch their videos, subscribe to their channels. It helps everybody do that. So any case, guys, that's big there. Someone needs to fill the stick figure whiteboard. Yeah. Well, okay. So the whiteboard started out as me being a smartass. And if you understand my sense of humor, I'm a very dry sense of humor, which not everybody gets. So I try to be straight-faced when I talk normally, and then just have something ridiculous in the background. That's the whole methodology to the whiteboard. And since I'm a child, I make sexual and poop jokes half the time. So yeah, see, MK doesn't even realize I have a sense of humor. It's hard to tell. So the Dusty Wheel seems to think that I am a big deal, but I guess I'm a big deal in a small world. Then we'll call it that. But then again, so is the Dusty Wheel. So yeah. Hey, the whiteboard will always be there. I'll tell you, sometimes I spend more time trying to think of what to put on the whiteboard than I do for the actual videos. So I've kind of given up doing it for live streams just because I need to save my whiteboard content and for all of the other childish jokes that I make. So, hey, one other plug I'll make here, guys, while I've got everybody on. Join the Discord server below. I know a lot of YouTube creators, content creators have a Discord. So if you're in like 50 of them, I get it if you don't want to be in another one. But I'd say we've got a pretty cool Discord server. There's a lot of chat. It's broken down by spoilers. It's really well organized. We've got great moderators, MK, Badger, IPA. And I like to interact. Heck, we do voice chats. I mean, last night we did something I would normally not do. We got in a pretty heated political conversation for 20 minutes in a voice chat. So don't expect that. But I mean, what I'm saying is it's a pretty cool community, and we all know each other by name. So if you want to be a part of it, please do. So I know you said the cursing in the books would sound cheesy on the show, but wouldn't you want to have at least say blood and bloody ashes at least once? Yeah. So here's my point. I know that's a long time ago I talked about that, but the cursing, when it comes to my take on the cursing in the show, I want them to keep the curses, but they've got to add in modern one. If somebody says mother's milk in a cup, that's funny for us to laugh at, but if you've never read the book, you're going to say that it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Okay. So it's got to be authentic and not seem like Xena warrior princess. Okay. That's what we have a problem with. Okay. So, yeah. Toby, Jimmy, Nae'Blis your channel. Made me get more into Wheel of Time. Discover Daniel Green and other Wheel of Time channels. I'm going to stand you to death. Toby, you might be the first person that's ever discovered me before Daniel. Usually Daniel's the one with all the people that end up finding me from Daniel, but that's awesome. I appreciate the support, man. Keep the cursing, but make it modern. Agreed. Mother effing mother's milk in a cup. I love it. Yeah, that's mother's milk in a cup is great. I mean, some of my favorite Wheel of Time swears are just kind of funny. I really think Robert Jordan had a really good sense of humor. And I do think the sexual innuendos that he puts into his book are very real and done deliberately, like calling things taints and all of that. I just, yeah. Kings Generals, I am absolutely going to message you on that, man. You guys, first of all, if you've not subscribed to Kings and Generals, you need to do that. They're a massive YouTube channel here, and they make really, really good content. So definitely check out Kings and Generals. Click their link and subscribe to their channel. Again, if I've got to run here in a sec, guys, but I'll lastly say this. One more pitch for the GoFundMe. We're raising some money to build the website that we're building, and there's going to be some really cool things, I think, there. So if you want to see a little bit of a peek of what we're doing, click the link in the GoFundMe. I'm going to have it posted in the link of the video afterwards. But yeah, I appreciate all of you guys who are supporting us and where we're going with it. And hopefully if we can exceed our goal here, we'll maybe be able to do a little bit more with it, because all of the money for that is going to go right back into building up the channel, helping support, grow the website, and kind of pull the community together. I just want to have a place where we can kind of highlight other creators and get the information in one spot. And I just think it should be a lot of fun. So I do have a Patreon. My Patreon is in the description below as well. So if you want to subscribe on the Patreon, you can check that out. And so all of that is down in the description. I put everything down there. Go fund Nae'Blis. You guys are ridiculous. That's funny. So, hey, everybody, I appreciate you joining me here. I will here. So for all of you all, you get a sneak peek. I've got 2 videos coming out. Actually, I've got 3 of them planned. I'll tell you about 2 of them. So the next video that's going to drop is, I hinted at this on my last live stream, and then I just, like I said, my life has been crazy, crazy, crazy. But I am going to put out the most powerful characters in the Wheel of Time, and I've got a super detailed rubric this time around. Somebody said you should like spell it out, so I did that. You're going to be able to see like all of it and the different things that we use to gauge power, and it ranks in like political power, non-channeling power, power fighting ability, all of that, to kind of have the most powerful characters in the Wheel of Time. Secondly, the other video that I've got coming out is a request that I'm definitely going to do, and that's I'm going to break down the ending to the Eye of the World. I know a lot of you have been asking about that, to kind of, hey, I'm really confused what the heck actually happened at the end of the Eye of the World. So I'm going to break it down for all of you. It is really cool, but there's no way of you to know what happened reading it the first time. You have to read about 7 more books to finally figure out what the heck was going on at the Eye of the World. So I'm going to break that down for everybody. So those are the next 2 videos, and then we'll have a news video again. So hopefully you guys, I'm going to make sure Demon Dread is not number 1. So just FYI for you. So guys, Patreon's in the description. GoFundMe we'll put that in the description. I don't think it's there yet. Patreon, GoFundMe, Discord server, support the Dusty Wheel, support Unraveling the Pattern, and support all the other creators. Oh yeah, and Kings and Generals. So all of that, and Ipa's quiz. So is that enough shout outs? So hey guys, thank you